The hunt begins in the dark jungles of planet Rinqual. The air was thick with fog and strange noises. Trees reached toward the sky like claws, and glowing insects lit up the leaves with soft green light. Deadly creatures moved silently between the vines, always hunting, always hungry. From the highest tree branch, an alien huntress named Vecra watched the forest floor. Her eyes were sharp, golden, and trained from birth to see through shadows. She was one of the best warriors of her HFY species, known for their strength, speed, and pride. Vecra had never lost a hunt, but today's prey was strange. Down below, standing near a muddy riverbank, was something she didn't expect. A human. He looked calm. His clothes were torn, covered in dirt and sweat. He had no armor, no advanced weapons, only a simple metal spear in one hand and a knife tied to his leg. His face was scarred, his jaw set like stone. He didn't seem afraid. Vecra tilted her head. "Why is a human here?" she whispered to herself. Humans were not supposed to be in this part of the galaxy. This jungle was sacred ground, dangerous even for her kind. No outsider had survived here longer than a day. Most ran. Others died screaming. But this one was different. She had been watching him for hours. First he drank from a stream, but carefully, only after testing the water with leaves. Then he set traps. Simple, clever ones. Ropes, sharpened sticks, tension-triggered snares. She had seen some of her own warriors fail at building traps like those. Now he crouched near a patch of thick vines. Vecra tensed. There was movement behind the vines. A beast was hiding there, big, fast, silent. The Zarkul, a predator that could kill even full-grown warriors in seconds. Suddenly the beast lunged. Vecra was ready to jump in, but the human moved first. He rolled to the side, just missing the claws. His trap snapped shut around the beast's leg. It roared, shaking the ground. But the human didn't panic. He stood up and charged. With perfect aim, he drove the spear through the creature's eye. One hit, clean. Silent. The jungle fell quiet again. Vecra blinked, stunned. She had seen great hunters before, but none like this. He didn't celebrate, didn't yell. He just sat beside the dead beast and pulled out a small tool to clean his weapon. She stared at him from the trees. This is not normal, she thought. This is skill. Real skill. She jumped silently to the next tree, trying to get a closer look. The human suddenly paused. He turned his head, just slightly. His eyes scanned the trees. Did he sense her? She froze, breath held. But he didn't move toward her. He simply reached into a pouch and took out something small. Food. He ate slowly, still alert, but not afraid. Not even tired. Vecra's heart beat faster. This was no accident. This human was not lost. He was here on purpose. But why? Was he testing himself? Escaping something? Or was he hunting too? In her culture, only the strongest were allowed to pass on their genes. Children were born only from warriors who proved themselves in the sacred jungle. Vecra had won her trials, but she had never seen a human win one. Never even seen a human try. And yet here he was. Calm, smart, deadly. A voice whispered in her mind, one she didn't expect. He's worthy. She shook her head. No. He's human. Weak. Soft. But her eyes didn't lie. Her instincts didn't lie. He had taken down a Zarkul alone, with no armor, no backup, only skill, willpower, and focus. Vecra couldn't stop watching him. As the human packed his things and started walking deeper into the jungle, she followed, silently, carefully, curious. What would he do next? Who was he? And why did something deep inside her, something wild and ancient, whisper, a hunter like that deserves to pass on his genes, the rules of her people? The jungle grew quieter as night fell. Strange glowing plants opened like flowers, Lighting. The forest in ghostly blue. The human had set up a small camp using leaves, vines, and sharpened sticks. He didn't build a fire. Smart. Fire attracts predators. Vecra watched him from the shadows, high in the trees, her breath steady, but her thoughts storming. She had followed him for 2 days now. Every trap he set worked. Every move he made was calculated. He slept with one eye half open. Even the jungle seemed to respect him. But she couldn't follow him forever. The traditions of her people were clear. If an outsider entered their sacred jungle and performed a perfect hunt, he had earned the right to challenge any warrior for the right to breed. That law was written in blood, ancient, unbreakable. It had never been used before. Until now. Back at her tribe's mountain village, fire pits glowed and warriors sharpened their weapons under the stars. When Vecra returned, she went straight to the elders. She stood tall in the center of the stone hall, her voice clear. I have seen a hunter, not one of us, a human. The warriors nearby laughed. A human? Here? And you call him a hunter? One growled. Vecra didn't blink. He killed a Zarkul, alone, with a spear. Silence spread like poison. An older female elder stepped forward. Her eyes were sharp like Vecra's. Did he know we were watching? No. Did he show fear? None. Did the kill follow the code of the wild? Vecra nodded. Clean. Single blow. No suffering. The room fell still. One of the male champions, tall and broad like a walking boulder, laughed again, harder this time. Then bring him. Let us see this brave little monkey. If he survives the fire trail, we will talk. The fire trail. A brutal run through the canyon of flame vents, lava pits, and beast dens. No one survived it without scars. Vecra clenched her fists. She knew what this was. They didn't believe her. They wanted the human dead. Sending him into the fire trail was their way of killing him without breaking the rules. She said nothing. She turned and left. By the next morning, Vecra returned to the jungle. She found the human crouched over a stream collecting water. He looked up as she stepped out from the trees, finally showing herself. He didn't raise his weapon. He just looked at her with calm eyes. Took you long enough, he said, voice low and steady. That stopped her. You knew? She asked. He shrugged. Felt it. Watched the branches move when they shouldn't. Heard someone breathing when nothing else was nearby. Noticed the same shadow twice. He stood, taller than she expected. Not broad like her kind, but solid. Centered. Dangerous. You're from the mountain tribe, he said. You're not afraid? No, he said. Should I be? She stared at him for a moment, then spoke clearly. You killed a Zarkul in sacred territory. Under our laws, you've earned the right to challenge for a mate. He raised an eyebrow. That sounds serious. It is. But they will not accept you easily. They want to test you, make you fail. He smirked. Let me guess. Dangerous. Obstacle course full of fire monsters and traps? Yes, we call it the fire trail. His smirk faded. Sounds fun. Vecra stepped closer, her voice firm. If you survive, they will honor you. If not, they'll bury what's left. The human nodded slowly. What's your name? Vecra. I'm Cole. There was a moment of quiet between them. You think I'll survive? He asked. She looked him over, remembered the beast, the clean kill, the silent traps. I don't know, she said honestly. But I've never wanted anyone to make it through more than I want you to. Stalked by the beast, the jungle was awake. Not with sound, but with tension. Every leaf seemed to shiver. Every shadow looked deeper than before. Even the wind felt heavy, as if something massive was moving through it, slow, silent, watching. Cole walked ahead, spear in hand, eyes scanning. Vecra moved beside him now, no longer hiding. She could feel it too. The jungle was holding its breath. Something was following them. They didn't speak. They didn't have to. The look in Cole's eyes said it all. He'd noticed. Long before, she did. Hours earlier, they had left the camp. Vecra had told him where the fire trail began, a deep canyon with fire vents and lava pools. Cole listened carefully, nodding, but even before they reached the edge of the canyon, the feeling started. First, birds stopped flying. Then small animals vanished from the trees. Now even insects were gone. Dead silence. "I know this place," Vecra whispered. "Something hunts here, something big." Cole didn't respond. He knelt and placed his hand on the dirt, closed his eyes. Then he stood up. "It's not just following us," he said. "It's circling, testing us." Vecra blinked. "You've hunted like this before?" "No," Cole said, gripping his spear tighter. "I've been hunted like this before." They moved fast but quiet, step by step, trap by trap. Cole tied strong vines to curved branches, set deadfall stones balanced on hair triggers. He didn't use alien tech, just instinct, tension, and dirt. Vecra watched, amazed again. He moved with the forest like he belonged in it. "Why do you know these things?" she finally asked. He paused. "Because I used to be prey," he said. Suddenly the trees shook. A scream split the jungle air. Not human, not animal, but something worse. A deep, rage-filled roar. Branches snapped behind them. Trees bent as something massive pushed through them without care. The ground trembled. It was coming, they ran. Cole led the way, dodging roots and low branches. Vecra kept up easily, but even her breathing was tight now. Behind them, trees fell. The sound was too heavy for any normal beast. This thing was old, ancient, hungry. "Zarkle?" Cole asked between breaths. Vecra shook her head. "Worse. We call it the Mulgra. Only seen twice. Never killed. Never tracked. Until now." Cole didn't stop. "Guess it's our lucky day." They reached a small ridge with broken rocks and steep sides. Below was a clearing, bare and wide. No trees, no cover, perfect for an ambush. Cole didn't wait. He dropped his pack, grabbed his gear, and spoke quickly. "I need 10 minutes, buy me 5. Vecra's eyes narrowed. "You're building a trap?" "No. I'm building its grave." She nodded once, then turned and vanished back into the trees. Her job was clear: slow the beast, distract it, keep it angry, keep it chasing. Cole moved, fast, faster than she expected. He tied vines across 2 boulders, dug quick holes with a sharp rock, planted sharpened sticks, coated them in Zarkle blood. If this thing could smell, it would smell pain. Minutes passed. Then, the jungle exploded behind him. Vecra burst out of the trees, breathless, armor scratched. Right behind her, the Mulgra crashed into the clearing. It was massive, bigger than a house. 4 legs, black skin like stone, and eyes that burned red. Its jaws were full of teeth as long as Cole's arm. Vecra dove aside. Cole yelled. The beast turned toward him. It charged. He waited. Just a little longer, then rolled to the side. The Mulgra's front leg hit a tripwire. Snap. One boulder swung down and smashed into its side. It roared in pain, staggered, but didn't fall. It lunged again. The ground gave way beneath it. Cole's pit trap opened like a mouth. The beast fell chest-deep, screaming as sharpened spikes dug into its belly. It writhed, crushed the trap, broke stones, but it was hurt. Badly. Cole ran forward, jumped on its back, and drove his spear into its spine. It roared, twisted, and fell still. Vecra stood slowly, watching the dust clear. The impossible had just happened. She walked to him, breathing hard. "You killed the Mulgra," she said. Cole wiped blood from his face. "Yeah," he said. "What's next?" She stared at him for a long time, then said softly, "Now you go to the fire trail, and I go to tell my people that a human just did the impossible. The kill that changed everything." The body of the Mulgra still twitched, its huge claws, dug into the earth even in death. Steam rose from its wounds. Blood soaked the ground, black and bubbling. The jungle, once loud and alive, was now holding its breath, as if it had seen something it could not understand. Cole stood on the beast's back, his arms shaking, blood dripping from his torn shirt. His breathing was rough, not from fear but from effort. His spear was broken, buried deep inside the creature's spine. He stepped down slowly, his legs unsteady. Vecra didn't move at first. She had seen many hunts, many warriors, many deaths. But this one was different. She had seen him work like a machine, think like a hunter, fight like a beast, and yet he was human, a species her people once called weak. She walked toward him. The leaves crunched under her boots. Cole looked up. "You okay?" he asked, voice low. She nodded. Then, without thinking, she reached out and touched his chest, just over his heart. It was still pounding. Strong. Alive. "You shouldn't be standing," she said softly. He gave a tired smile. "Then I guess I'm too stubborn to fall." She pulled her hand back. The jungle was still quiet. Even the sky above seemed darker now, as clouds gathered in strange shapes. The kill had shaken more than just the ground. "Do you understand what this means?" Vecra asked. Cole shrugged. "We lived. It's enough." "No," she said. "This was a legend. This creature killed dozens of our warriors across generations. Even our elders feared it. No one ever faced it and survived. But you didn't just survive. You won." Back at the mountain village, drums echoed through the stone halls. Fire blazed high in the center of the square. Warriors stood in lines, armored and silent. Elders watched from their high seats, cloaks billowing in the wind. Then the crowd parted. Vecra stepped into view, walking ahead of the human. Cole followed, his body patched with bandages but his eyes still sharp. He walked like a soldier, not asking for respect but earning it with each step. Gasps came from the crowd as some recognized the black scars on his hands, the burn marks from the mulgra's claws. He carried the beast's fang on his back. A symbol, a challenge. The elder chief stood slowly. "You bring a human into our sacred ground?" he growled. Vecra answered first. "He has hunted as one of us, killed as one of us, bled more than many of us. He faced the jungle's god and walked away alive." The chief's eyes narrowed. "And now what? You claim he's a warrior?" She took a step forward. "No, I claim he's more than that." She turned to Cole. The fire behind her made her armor glow. Her eyes softened, but her voice stayed strong. "This man killed what we believed could never be killed. Not with our weapons, not with our science. He used his mind, his hands, his will. I saw him risk everything. Not for glory, not for reward, but because he refuses to die." She paused. "Under the laws of our ancestors, that kind of strength must not be wasted." She looked him straight in the eyes. "A hunter like that deserves to pass on his genes." The crowd murmured. Some shocked, some angry, some silent in awe. The chief stood still for a long moment. Then he turned to Cole. "Do you accept what she offers?" he asked. Cole looked around. Alien faces, alien rules, alien firelight. But in the middle of it all, Vecra stood like a storm. Proud, fierce, beautiful. Not just a warrior, but something more now. He gave a single nod. "I didn't come here for this," he said, "but I've earned it." He looked at Vecra. "And if your people doubt me, let them test me again." The crowd erupted in roars, not of anger, but respect. From deep in the jungle to the heart of a warrior tribe, the human had done what none had before. Not just survived, not just won, but changed everything. The tribe's judgment Cole stood before a wall of silent warriors. The fire in the great hall cracked, casting sharp shadows across ancient stone. Around him, Vecra's people formed a ring, some with crossed arms, others gripping weapons. Their eyes were not friendly, not hostile either, just watching, measuring. Above them all, the tribal elders sat on their stone thrones, cloaked in beast hides, faces marked with the blood of past hunts. Each one had fought in the jungle, each one had bled for this tribe. Now they held judgment, and in their eyes, Cole was still an outsider. Vecra stood to his right, her back straight, face unreadable. But her presence beside him was powerful, a signal, a challenge. She was the first warrior to ever stand beside a human in this chamber. The oldest elder, a female with silver tattoos and eyes like stone, finally spoke. "Speak, Vecra. This is your claim." Vecra's voice echoed across the room, calm, clear. He faced the jungle's gods and lived. He faced the Mulgra and won. He followed our laws, though he was not born into them. He proved himself in silence, with action, not words. "I invoke the right of Kurntal." A murmur rose. Cole leaned toward her. "What's that?" She didn't look at him. "The final trial. If they still doubt you, they can challenge you in combat. In front of everyone. Just one problem," Cole said quietly. "I'm still half dead." "You'll heal fast?" she replied. "Or die fast?" A tall male warrior stepped forward. Muscles like stone. His armor was scarred, fangs hanging. From his belt, he slammed a large war axe into the floor. "I am Tharn, champion of 3 seasons. I challenge the outsider." No one was surprised. Tharn had hated Vecra's rise. Now he saw a chance to strike her where it hurt, through the human she had chosen. Cole sighed. "Of course it's the big one." Vecra stepped forward. "I'll take his place." The elders raised their hands. Denied. The right was invoked. The challenge must be answered, by the outsider. They brought Cole weapons, alien blades, heavy shields. He pushed them aside. "I'll use what I know." He chose a sharpened spear he carved himself and tied bone to the grip. Light, fast. The crowd formed a circle. Drums began. Slow, deep. Vecra whispered to him before he stepped in. "He's brutal. He'll try to crush you fast. Stay light. Stay low. Don't let him grab you." Cole gave a tired smile. "I'm not here to impress them. I'm here to survive them." The duel began. Tharn charged like a beast, swinging wide with his war axe. The air cracked. Cole rolled under it, stabbing at Tharn's ribs. The blade hit, but barely sank. Tharn growled and turned, slamming a foot down. The ground shook. Cole jumped back, but the edge of the axe clipped his side. Blood splashed. The crowd cheered. Cole gritted his teeth, eyes focused. He remembered the jungle, the Zarkul, the Mulgra. Pain was just a signal. Fear was fuel. He dodged again, then darted forward, stabbing the spear into Tharn's leg. This time, deep. Tharn howled. Cole didn't stop. He spun behind, slammed his elbow into Tharn's back, then yanked the spear free and slashed across the champion's neck guard. The crowd went quiet. Tharn fell to one knee, breathing heavy. Cole stepped back, covered in blood, but standing. "Enough!" the elder shouted. Tharn roared and charged again, angry, reckless. That was his mistake. Cole sidestepped, used his own momentum, and slammed Tharn to the ground. Dust rose. The axe slid across the floor. Tharn didn't rise. Cole stood over him, chest heaving, one eye nearly swollen shut. "I don't fight for pride," he said loud enough for all to hear. "I fight because I won't be beaten." The fire snapped. Silence. Then, boom, a deep drum beat. Then another. Then cheering. The elders stood. The chief raised his staff. "This human has passed every test, survived every trial. He has earned the right of Kurntal. He is one of us now." Vecra stepped beside him, her eyes locked on his. For a moment, the crowd, the fire, the world disappeared. "You are not prey," she whispered. Cole gave a small nod. "No, I never was." Trial of fire. The fire trail was not a path. It was a punishment, carved by ancient volcanic rage and shaped by the blood of those who dared to walk it. Vents hissed from the canyon walls, spitting fire, without warning. Pools of lava bubbled below cracked stones. Sharp winds howled through jagged rock towers. And hidden among it all were things that moved when no one was looking. This place had no rules, no mercy. Only one law: survive. Cole stood at the edge, battered and bruised, his clothes torn, skin marked by fire and blade. Behind him, the entire tribe watched in silence. Some from the cliffs above, others from carved ledges along the canyon wall. Vecra stood closest. She had tried to talk him out of it. "You already won their respect," she told him. "You don't need to prove anything more." Cole didn't answer at first. He was staring down into the canyon, his fingers tapping the shaft of his handmade spear. "They still doubt me," he finally said. "They always will," she replied. He turned to her then, and for the first time since the jungle, she saw something new in his eyes, not anger, not pain, conviction. "I don't care if they doubt me," he said. "I care if you do." Her breath caught, but before she could speak, he stepped forward and jumped into the fire trail. The air changed the moment he landed. The heat was alive. It wrapped around him like claws. Each step forward was heavier than the last. Stones cracked underfoot, threatening to drop him into molten death. Steam vents shot bursts of scalding air without warning. Cole moved fast. Every second counted. He remembered every trap, every step from the jungle. This was the same, only louder, hotter, deadlier. Above, the elders watched with cold eyes. "He moves like he's done this before," one whispered. The chief narrowed his gaze. "That's what makes him dangerous." Cole crawled through a narrow tunnel of black rock. On the other side, something waited. 6 glowing eyes, long claws, needle teeth, a cinder stalker, heat-born, rage-fueled. It lunged. Cole ducked, rolled, stabbed upward into its belly. The beast shrieked, burning blood, splashing his arms. It thrashed, bit his shoulder. But he didn't scream. He bit back, then drove the spear through its throat. Silence again. He limped forward, breathing smoke and blood. Meanwhile, Vecra couldn't take her eyes off the canyon. Every drop of sweat on her skin felt cold now. She had seen champions die down there, warriors born of flame, trained from birth. None of them moved the way Cole did. He wasn't fast, but he was smart, focused. Every time the trail tried to break him, he bent, but he never snapped. Cole finally reached the last bridge. It was thin, broken. Half-melted stone stretched across a river of fire. One wrong step, and he'd fall forever. He exhaled once, then walked. The wind howled. The bridge shifted. A piece crumbled beneath him. He jumped, barely catching the edge. His fingers burned. Skin tore. He pulled himself up anyway, then stood tall at the end of the bridge. Above, no one spoke. Then a single low drumbeat. Then another. Then hundreds. Boom. 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 Cole climbed the final stone stairs and emerged into the light. His face was covered in ash. One arm was burned. But he stood, and he smiled. Not for pride, but for survival. Vecra ran to him. She didn't care who was watching. Her arms wrapped around him before she could stop herself. "You're insane," she whispered into his chest. "I'm human," he whispered back. The elder chief stepped forward, staff in hand. "You have done what even our own fear," he said. "You did not have to enter the fire trail, but you chose to." Cole met his eyes. "I had something to prove." The chief nodded once. "To us?" "No," Cole said. "To myself." The chief raised his staff. "All doubts are gone. He is not prey. He is not visitor. He is one of us." The tribe roared, but for Cole only one voice mattered. Vecra's. She looked at him like a warrior does, but also like something more, something ancient, something new. The decision. The fires had died down. Drums were silent. Warriors returned to their homes. The canyon behind them no longer roared with heat. It now rested like a beast that had been fed. But Cole stood alone at the edge of the cliff, staring at the stars. He looked like a ghost. His body carried burns, cuts, bruises. But his eyes were alive. Not wild like before, but clear. For the first time in a long time, he was at peace. Behind him, Vecra approached quietly. She had removed her armor. Her long, dark hair fell across her shoulders like silk. No weapons now, just her, just real. He didn't turn to look. He didn't need to. "I thought you'd still be celebrating," he said softly. She stood beside him. "I was," she replied. "But then I remembered. You're still not one of us, not really." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Oh?" She smirked. "You're more." The wind blew through the cliffs, carrying their words into the stars. Vecra looked at him. "You survived the jungle, killed the Mulgra, fought our champion, conquered the fire trail. My people would follow you now. Some would even offer themselves to you." He chuckled. "Sounds awkward." "It's tradition," she said. "When a warrior proves their strength, they are honored, given the right to choose a mate. You've earned it." He was silent for a moment, then asked, "Is that why you stood beside me?" Vecra's eyes narrowed. "No, I stood beside you, because even before the laws said you belonged, I saw something in you that didn't need permission." She stepped closer. "I thought you were a fool when I first saw you, a soft-skinned human with a stick. But then I watched. You didn't fight with anger or pride. You fought with focus. You never gave up, even when you should have." She placed her hand over his chest. His heartbeat was steady. "You made me believe in something I didn't know I was missing." Cole looked at her. Really looked. For the first time, he allowed himself to ask the question he had buried deep. "Why did you care?" She didn't blink. "Because I've hunted beasts my whole life, won battles, collected trophies. But none of them looked at me the way you do. You don't see me as a prize, you see me as a person." He nodded. "Same." She took a breath. "I give you the choice, Cole. By our laws, I'm yours to claim, but I don't want that." He tilted his head. "What do you want?" Her voice softened. "I want you to choose me. Not because you earned me, but because you want me." For a long moment, Cole said nothing. Then, with a slow smile, he reached out and took her hand. "I didn't survive the jungle for your tribe," he said. "I didn't face the fire to prove myself to your elders. I did it because somewhere between the vines and the blood, I realized I wasn't running from death. I was running toward you." The stars burned above them, bright and endless. And there, on the edge of fire and history, a human and a huntress stood together, not as warrior and prize, not as alien and outsider, but as two souls who had earned each other in the only way that mattered, through respect, through survival, through choice. Epilogue. Months later, tales would spread across the galaxy of a human who faced the jungle gods, who took no trophy but returned with a huntress queen at his side. Some laughed, some didn't believe it. But those who saw the fire in her eyes and the calm strength in his, they knew. The stories were true, and they were only just beginning.